Greetings of peace from Peace Vigil. We bring to you today a program on Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, popularly known as Frontier Gandhi and also as Badshah Khan, on his birthday, February 6th. If you like this program, please remember to share it and also please subscribe to our channel. Peace Vigil works on peace education. Peace needs all of us. Professor Shamsul Islam on Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, popularly known as Frontier Gandhi or Badshah Khan.
Dear friends, before starting, I must thank Peace Vigil for remembering Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan or Saradi Gandhi or Badshah Khan, whom we have forgotten, almost forgotten. He was a warrior against imperialism, against feudalism, against religious bigotry, and played a heroic role in the freedom struggle as a companion of Gandhiji, as a leader of Congress, as a very senior leader and a friend of Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Patel and other Congress leadership, which took over India as rulers after 15th August 1947. His heroic deeds, the sacrifices of his organization, Khudai Khidmatgars, Servants of God. He was bound to be decried and denigrated in Pakistan because till his death, in fact, in 1988, he was not convinced that Hindus and Muslims are two nations or partition was required. So hatred of the Pakistani ruling elite, intelligentsia and press was natural, but he was forgotten in India also. He has been forgotten in India also, except that in a prominent place in Delhi, his statue appears as a part of Dandi March scene with Gandhi. Apart from that, we have almost written him off. About him, his sacrifices, his sturdiness in fighting against the British. And the worst was that last December, there used to be a big hospital in Faridabad, Haryana, near Delhi, named after him, which was inaugurated, foundation of which was led by Jawaharlal Nehru and inaugurated by Jawaharlal Nehru later, Badshah Khan Hospital, Faridabad. That hospital was renamed, rechristened as Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So Badshah Khan was dropped out of that. What was the reason? But that was understandable because Haryana Sarkar is run by a seasoned RSS cadre, and it was not surprising. But otherwise also, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was not given the importance or honor which he deserved in an independent India, because he suffered so much, he sacrificed so much for a united India and his fight that India should not be partitioned. He hailed from a quite well-to-do Pathan family. He founded an organization, Khudai Khidmatgars, Servants of God, and they used to wear red shirts. And red shirt was not just that they chose red shirt. That also meant they were against feudalism. They were against zamindari system, landlord system. They were against poverty of the peasantry in the northwestern frontier area. They wanted education for women. And this was all contrary to what we generally know about Pathans, that Pathans are backward, they are short-tempered, they just take out guns for fighting, and they are rude, and they are unreliable, and almost all of these denigration or infamous things about Pathans were propounded by the Britishers, because they never let Britishers rule peacefully, subjugate them peacefully, and they always have been a thorn in the crown of the British rule there. And maximum British forces were deployed in that area, and that we can understand that Britishers, while ruling India, had their army headquarters at Ambala and Peshawar. That was frontier area in Punjab. what they were doing, uh, and such a great and novel experiment, red shirts, which numbered, according to British intelligence agencies, the number was not less than 20,000. 20,000, 99% of them Muslims. That was a story which nobody wants to know. Of course, Hindutva does not want to know. Muslim leaguers did not want to know. But we also forgot. We also did not give much importance to this. And I'm very grateful to Peace Vigil revisiting this great person, this great movement, and the contribution of Khudai Khidmatgars. One of the most important author and researcher, authority on Muslim politics, especially partition and two-nation theory, W.C. Smith. W.C. Smith wrote that the intensity of civil disobedience was reflected in the number of prosecutions and convictions which took place during the non-cooperation movement. Until September 1932, the figure was 5,557 in a total population of 25 lakh. Towards the end of 1932, out of 1,500 civil disobedient prisoners in Peshawar, 5 were Hindus, 2 Sikhs, the rest being Muslims. Yani 1,498 were Muslims. The Haripura Hazara district, now in Pakistan Central Jail, housed 1938 Muslims and 24 Hindus. In the province as a whole, over 90% of the civil disobedient prisoners were Muslims. Smith also wrote another important thing about them. No other in that area, no section of India. In fact, he said that for fighting for the liberation of the country, no section of India, observed W.C. Smith in 1943, has been more thoroughly nationalist. Not only amongst Muslims, not only amongst Muslims. W.C. Smith says no section of India has been more thoroughly nationalist, and in that context, you will understand the significance of the data about Khudai Khidmatgars being in jail. While leading Khudai Khidmatgars, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was very clear on crucial issues facing our nation, our country. One is Hindu, Muslim, Sikhs, or followers of all religions make one nation. Religion cannot be basis of a nation. So it was against two-nation theory, and he vehemently, till his death, he fought against the two-nation theory. Then he also said that feudalism and imperialism are two enemies of the people of Northwestern Frontier area and India. He wanted revolutionary land reforms. He wanted end of landlordism. And as I told you, that their red shirts, that shirts were symbolic of that kind of understanding of the movement. And
Professor Islam, you had also mentioned that they supported girls' education and women's rights.
They supported girls' education. They supported girl education and faced terrible resistance.
I see. Thank you.
And another thing in which they were very strong in defending was their relationship with the Congress. There were conservative Muslim sections in the frontier area. In fact, more than anywhere else in the Indian subcontinent, who believed that Congress was a Hindu organization and Gandhi was a Hindu leader, a leader of Hindus. They said, no, Congress is a secular organization. Congress is a jirga, is a council of Hindu, Muslim, Sikhs. And he also underlined the fact that Pathans can never be enslaved by anybody, and we are there in the Congress at having the status of equal level, and that is true. He had the standing, he had the reputation of being as big a leader, as prominent a leader as Gandhiji. That's why he was known as Sarhadi Gandhi. He said, the British nation is the enemy of the Congress and of the Pathans. I have therefore joined it and made common cause with the Congress to get rid of the British. So, against imperialism, against feudalism, taking part with their maximum strength, putting at stake against the British rule. And some of the things, some of these utterances, some of these speeches, some of their writings looked akin to Bhagat Singh and communist revolutionaries, socialist revolutionaries of India. And another important thing was, where they would differ from Bhagat Singh, that they made Quran the basis of anti-imperialism fight. They were fighting against imperialism. They were fighting against conservatism, Islamic conservatism also, quoting Quran. And while Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was in jail for many years, in jail with 6 compatriots and Hindu compatriots, he very deeply studied Granth Sahib, Sikh scripture, and Gita and Purans, and he could quote from those. So he represented that real India, that real idea of India, that Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan happens to be a Muslim. Khudai Khidmatgar organization happens to be dominated by 99% Muslims, but it had the politics and philosophy of all inclusiveness, that India is a bouquet of so many flowers, so many colors, so many leaves, and that should be contained. And whenever, if you want to do it, you would be helping the Britishers only. So if you want Muslim nationalism, if you want Hindu nationalism, if you want Sikh nationalism, so you would be destroying India and helping the Britishers. And other thing is that what was their standing and role during partition? Much violence against minorities, Sikhs and Hindus did not take place because they were there. When they were not there and they were subjugated by, unfortunately, Punjabis who infiltrated northwestern frontier area to oppose and, in fact, to harm and to kill Khudai Khidmatgars, only then Hindus and Sikhs became under attack. And the Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, what was happening, what Muslim League was doing with them, that is important to know. That he said that they suffered immensely against the British rule, and the Muslim Leaguers are daily. In a speech in July 1947, he said, the Muslim Leaguers are daily taking out processions, raising highly objectionable slogans. That is the time when it has been decided that northwestern frontier area would be in Pakistan, but they are opposing. Their family rules, his elder brother rules northwestern frontier province. And another thing I want to share is that 1942 also their government was dismissed by the Britishers, and in northwestern frontier, Muslim League and Hindu Mahasabha ran a coalition government there against Khan Biradars government in northwestern frontier area. So I come back to Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan Sahab, described the terror of Muslim Leaguers. The Muslim Leaguers are daily taking out processions, raising highly objectionable slogans. They call us kafir, infidels, and resort to abusive language. I have been personally hooted. Another matter which is causing serious concern to us is the presence in our process of a large number of Punjabis who openly incite people to violence. Not only that, but they have also gone to the length of suggesting in public meetings that the top leaders of red shirts should be done away with. Means it should be killed, should be executed. They also proclaim openly that after Pakistan has been established, all of them who are called traitors will be hanged. Yani all Khudai Khidmatgar, red shirt walas would be hanged. And that was done. That large-scale killings of red shirt took place immediately after partition. Hindus and Sikhs only were not attacked, but also large-scale violence against Khudai Khidmatgars. And how much Muslim Leaguers hated them would be clear that nephew of wife of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan Sahab, Ataullah Khan, उनकी वाइफ और his servant, they were all killed in a mosque by the Muslim Leaguers, because in a mosque a very derogatory and foul language was being used about red shirts when they opposed, so they were killed. And there are hundreds of other examples which you could understand when Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan Sahab was saying about the terror of the Britishers. But unfortunately, what happened? And Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was also a leading figure in the Muslims Against Partition conference, which took place in April 26, 27, 28, 29 April. Immediate 1 month after Muslim League passing resolution at Lahore, 22nd, 23rd March for Pakistan. That conference was organized to challenge the two-nation theory, to challenge the idea of Pakistan, and also demand adult franchise and not restricted franchise. And their argument was that Muslim League was winning elections because due to the restricted franchise, and under 1935 Act, only those could vote who were taxpayers, who paid revenue up to 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, degree holders. They were income taxpayers or lawyers. And in Bihar, for instance, only 8% of Muslims thus had the right to vote. In UP, it was around 11%. In totality, it was around around 88% Muslims were without franchise, without vote. And while supporting partition, the British rulers' argument was, see, Muslims are electing Muslim League, so they are the real representatives. But forgetting that that is a restricted franchise.
Professor Islam, is there any document that can throw more light on how many Muslims actually supported the anti-partition movement?
Well, it's difficult to know count the strength, but the conference which was held in April, Azad Muslim Conference, Independent Muslim Conference, W.C. Smith said that this was the largest ever gathering of Muslims in history. Even during Khilafat.
This is the conference you were talking about earlier in Delhi that was against the partition, Muslims that gathered.
And then British press, especially statesmen and Times of India, the Hindustan Times. At that time, Hindustan Times used to be the Hindustan Times. So they said that it was the largest gathering of Muslims and the most representative 14 leading grassroots organizations of Muslims were there. It had organizations.
And you also said that the Khudai Khidmatgars under the leadership of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan were part of this gathering.
They were part of this. And it was led by Allah Baksh Sahab.
Allah Baksh Tumru.
And the participation of Khudai Khidmatgars was not very visible, because that conference was Azad Muslim Conference, Independent Muslim Conference. Those Muslims who are not attached to Muslim League and Congress.
I see. But there is enough documentation that I have read.
See, for instance, yeah. Maulana Azad.
Yes.
He was not part of the management committee. He was not part of the leading cadres of but he was always there. He was guiding the conference.
True, and it's the same with Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, that he was also in complete support of the conference. Professor
and
Islam,
when in June,
Professor Islam, I would like you to please tell us a little more also about the relationship between Gandhi and Frontier Gandhi.
They were very close. They were very close. They were very good friends. But when June 1947 Congress agreed for partition of the country, he was very angry with Gandhiji. And he told Gandhiji in June 1947, I quote, "We Pakhtuns stood by you and had undergone great sacrifices for attaining freedom. But you have now deserted us and thrown us to wolves, bhediyon ko. The decision about partition and referendum in the frontier province was taken by the High Command Congress without consulting us. Sardar Patel and Rajgopalachari were in favor of partition and holding referendum in our province. This will explain how a gimmick, how a treachery was done to them by holding a referendum there. Sardar said, I was worrying over nothing. Maulana Azad was sitting near me, noticing my decision. He said to me, you should now join the Muslim League. Of course, he said it sarcastically. It pained me to find how little these companions of ours had understood what we had stood for and fought for all these years. And what I was telling you in the beginning, sharing with you that Muslim League and Pakistan did not want them. In fact, they did not want them to remain alive even. Exactly after 8 days of the formation of Pakistan on 22nd August 1947, the government led by elder brother of Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan Sahab was dismissed by Jinnah. Jinnah himself took over powers of northwestern frontier area. And another important thing I would like to share with you is that this Khudai Khidmatgars and Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan Sahab struggle and other was, caused even their mass base and their appeal and their kind of literature, the kind of their convincing arguments even affected the loyalty of a regiment of the Britishers, of course, Indian regiment, Galwal regiment. And on 23rd April 1930, there was a big rally in Peshawar, and British administrators asked the Galwal regiment led by Veer Chandra Singh Galwali to fire upon them. They refused. And many scores of these were arrested, put behind bars. Veer Chandra Singh Galwali ji himself was given 40 years imprisonment with hard labor, and when he was released, he joined the Communist Party. That kind of friendship and that kind of reciprocating each other's sentiments, even Indian Army was affected by that. But Free India bothered least about Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. And that is very unfortunate. And whatever was done, the height of treachery was when last December, 14th December, people found that Basha Khan Aspatal's name has been rechristened as Atal Bihari Vajpayee Aspatal. Thank you.
Professor Islam, we have a couple of questions. One is that...
Please.
Thank you. Is there any letter from Gandhi to Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan after he expressed how sad and disappointed he was that...
No, I did not find. Sorry, I did not find. And, only Ghaffar Khan Sahab did not write. Islam, the leader, Habibur Rahman, Maulana Habibur Rahman, and the group of Maulvis which are known Ludhianvi Maulvis, who remained against Pakistan, and they did not accept the partition. Jamiatul Ulama, then A.K. Khwaja, Indian Muslim Majlis, they also wrote letter, and Hifzur Rahman Sahab, very leading, who was many times attacked. In fact, he was stabbed many times by the Muslim League Gundas. He, in the Congress Working Committee, was finally passed the resolution. They he delivered a very emotional speech and said that you have betrayed us, and that's terrible. And another, Rashid Hirani, these were the two Muslims who gave vote of dissent to the resolution. But Gandhi ji, how Gandhi ji surrendered, that's a mystery. But as a researcher, I can say that he was all cornered. He too was cheated. In fact, he was cornered by Mountbatten and British jo officialdom first got Sardar Patel to agree to the partition. Then Congress President Rajgopalachari, and then also Nehru. But we should not also forget that the kind of situation Muslim League had created after their direct action program, which started a series of violence. In fact, Muslim zealots, Muslim Leaguers and their Muslim National Guard, they attacked Hindu areas, they raped Hindi women and other, and that started a kind of chain of communal riots. So, that final judgment on the guilty men of the partition is yet to come. But of course, Lohia, socialist leader Lohia, Ramono Lohia, in his book Guilty Men of the Partition, he says that these were the Hindutva gang, which forced the partition. They created a situation that Muslim League became the only option for Muslims. The nationalist Muslims were marginalized, and then there was no way out for the Congress also to accept for the partition.
That is extremely unfortunate, because as numbers show, I know we don't have full data, but whatever numbers we have of people attending the conferences and supporting the organizations that were against partition, it is very clear that the majority of Indian Muslims did not want partition. They did not want Pakistan. But the way Muslims are remembered today, for their role in the freedom movement is largely a false narrative that claims that Muslims wanted Pakistan and Muslims were with the Muslim League. And in this environment, I think it is very important to remember a person like Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. What shocks me immensely is that he died in 1988. He lived almost 100 years. So there was
98 years.
Yeah, so there was a huge opportunity for a party like Congress or other people who were involved in the Indian struggle to do something with him, to actually maybe invite him to India or have him talk.
No, he kept on coming to India. That is true. But his virasat we did not carry forward. We did not carry forward the heritage of the Azad Muslim Conference, the heritage of Allah Bakhsh, the heritage of Momin Conference, the heritage of Jamatul Ulama against two nation theory. They produce literature on nationalities, two nation theory. What is a nation? Which should have been taught in Indian universities. The editorial, the articles which appeared in Medina, Bijnor, the articles which appeared in Bombay Chronicle, those should have been selected and introduced in universities. What was the fight against Muslim League? Fight against Muslim League today would have been fight against the Hindutva criminals also.
Certainly, because the whole fight of people like Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan was the fight against British imperialism, and a fight that was united, a united fight. So Hindu, Muslim, Sikhs together. It was against the division. It was against the two nation theory. And you are very right that had he been alive today, he would certainly be working against the Hindutva politics if he was part of the Indian scene.
And another unfortunate thing is that, by discarding them, by discarding the Muslims against partition, by discarding these, Momin Conference was one of the largest Muslim organization of the weavers, lower caste Muslims, which are known as Arzal, and against Ashraf. And Shia Muslim Conference, the Sheikh Abdullah, National Conference, Sheikh Abdullah, all these people, they were all, when you forgot about them,